What is going on, everybody? One of your co-hosts here tonight, ABJ, joined by Tantalizing Tony. Tonight is WWE versus AEW. Content creators go head-to-head. A WWE Loyalist debates the AEW Superfan. Thank you all so much for joining in tonight. We hope you enjoyed. This is the pilot episode. We're working on a show name, so if anyone has any ideas, please let me know. We'll get into everything here in a moment, but I'm just kind of giving you the brief little intro. But welcome everybody to the most unapologetic wrestling debate show on YouTube, where feelings get hurt, takes get buried, and nostalgia gets exposed. I'm ABJ, a lifelong fan and on the local scene, backstage commentary and creative on the local independent wrestling scene. And his is Tantalizing Tony. He's a super fan turned wrestler. He lived it inside the ropes and now is also one of the top content creators in the area. And tonight, we're not recapping, we're debating. This is the show that you guys are going to be talking about for a very long time. And you other content creators out there, be careful, because we are coming. We're taking over, and we're going to the top. No one does it like us, so be prepared. From AEW to NXT to WWE, ROH, and the independents, past, present, controversial, legendary, we're going to cover it all. And if you like the live chat, if you're in the live chat and you want to be part of the show, drop your takes and let us know what side of the debates you are on. Later in the chat, we will have an ending segment to allow the chat to pick a topic that maybe you guys think we should cover. We're not going to be doing a lot of what's going on right now in wrestling. We're going to be doing a little bit of an origin story, if you will. We're going to kind of, for the brand new people or people who maybe don't know the stories, we're going to kind of dive into that. And then we're going to bounce back and forth and talk about why we love the AEW versus the WWE side. And then we do have a hot take for the end of the episode. We're going to be discussing CM Punk as the current WWE champion. And then every week we will change that main topic. But, Tony, here we are. You have called me out, sir, and you wanted to do this debate. And I said, I'll do it. And we behind closed doors, we discussed terms. I said, I don't want to be the co-host or the guest of the Tantalizing Tag Team Podcast. No disrespect. I want this to be a 50-50 split. You are on your live. I am on my live. This is just much my show as it is yours. So devil references and ABJ references will fly. There's no children around. You know what I'm saying? Well, I will try to keep it my best, but this is an ABJ, Tantalizing Tony, ABJ show here. But I want to dive into our origin stories. I want people to understand who we are as people, maybe some of the history between us, because it always hasn't been roses. It's actually been kind of rough at some patches. We were at the point of, it was on site. We were going to swing on each other at some point. But we have learned to bury that and respect each other's hard work, grind, and dedication of what we're trying to do as content creators. And I think us putting everything of that aside and stepping into this realm and discussing our passions, I personally think is going to be unstoppable. I know your audience is not huge fans of me. There's some who maybe like me, some who don't. But I want to say personally to the Tantalizing Nation, I do miss you. The live streams were a great time. A lot of you I have much love and respect for, and I'm sure the ABJ cult will do the same for you. But let's get into personal background. I want you to share, Tony, how you discovered wrestling and got into picking wrestling as your content creation choice.
Now, before I get into answering all of Blackwell's questions,
okay, let me first turn your mic up a little bit. By the way, it sounds like crap.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Listen, I don't have the.
Put it next to your mouth.
Jesus, I'm a little far away right now. So is this better? Is this better?
It's a little better. It's doable.
Okay. You know what? Let's just keep it. Let's get it a little closer here.
This guy here, unprofessional.
All right. Is that better? Is that better now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So look, guys, Anthony Blackwell Jr. read his entire spiel. You know, he bumbled a couple times over the words. He can't read his own handwriting. You guys know there's no script in front of me. I don't have my phone. I just talk off the cuff. It's what I do, okay? To quote Mark Henry. First of all, thanks for everybody for being here. It's incredible that you guys are here. I do miss doing the live streams. Having Blackwell here as an adversary is really great. We don't see eye to eye on just about anything. There was a day where we were going to go to blows, and Who knows what would happen? I could tell you what's going to happen, but I digress. Bottom line is this: is that I'm here for one reason and one reason alone, to shut this guy up. He's the intellectual. We know this. We know that he's going to break down the psychology. He's going to talk about and like Tony this and Tony that and be so articulate. Forget articulation. Forget matriculation. Forget pronunciation. Okay?
That's a funny way of saying I'm always right, but go ahead.
Hey, listen, you can be right sometimes. It's cool. Yeah, hit that like button, please. And, subscribe to everything. Watch his Twitch, his YouTube, mine as well. And look, here's the thing, guys. One thing we have in common is we both love professional wrestling, and it doesn't matter, to quote The Rock, what side you love and what side you hate. We can have a debate and have a mutual respect. I will tell you this. I'm older than him. I'm better than him. And I'm definitely more good looking than him. So let's have some fun. Let's get into it. This is going to be good. Stephen A. Smith, Skips Bayless. What's the other guy's name?
They're all jabronis.
Shannon Sharp, all you guys, First Take, Tony Kornheiser, Around the Horn. I got 2 words for you. Stay tantalizing. Let's go. What's your question, bro?
All right. So how did you discover professional wrestling, and what made you later on get into the content space and cover wrestling? You go first, and then I'll answer second.
I'm black and I'm poor. I've been that way my whole life. Wrestling was all I had. I only had 3 channels on my TV: 2, 5, and 7, and 7 showed wrestling. No, seriously, I love wrestling since I was a kid. I tell the story all the time how my Uncle Andy was my dad. He loved wrestling. We used to go to the Garden. That's Madison Square Garden for you jabronis, MSG, which is in New York City, where I'm from, Brooklyn. We went every last Monday of the month, and I saw matches back in the day like Chief Jay Strongbow. I saw Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson beat the Wild Samoans for the tag team titles. That's the 80s, bro. I go back. And I was at the first WrestleMania. I was at the first Raw. I was there when Hogan beat the Iron Sheik. So I go back. So I just always loved it. Wrestling's been good to me. Unlike my ex-wives and my ex-girlfriends, they don't talk back. So.
Well, this co-host is going to talk back. I'm the same way. I got into wrestling very young. I did take a break in the late high school era. I kind of dove more into the MMA aspect of things for a while there, and really fell in love with that sport. And then I started doing content, and I was interviewing local businesses and artists and musicians. And I was like, man, I want to kind of broaden my horizons and talk about different things. So pop culture, horror movies, video games, all that stuff. But then I was like, man, you know what I used to love as a kid and I was completely obsessed with was pro wrestling. And I started watching again. And everyone's like, man, you're going to love this guy, CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. You should really watch because of them. And I tuned into the Rumble that they were both in. And then they walked away from wrestling. And then I was like, well, I'm done. If that was the reason I should watch, I'm not watching. And then I came back, I think a couple of years later, I started doing content around the time that AEW was announced, but it wasn't a company yet. They were doing the press conferences and everything like that. And that's when the first All In happened. And that was kind of the introduction of my wrestling. And then I dove into the independent scene. The independent scene then turned into me becoming a backstage interviewer, then became commentary, then actually backstage interviewer a couple times. Then I went to production, and I was doing a bunch of production stuff. And then I became a creative guy where I was helping write stories and helping talent fine-tune their characters and stuff like that. And then I turned into commentator. And now I kind of tote between commentary, backstage interviewer, and ring announcer sometimes, which I really don't like doing, but it is if it's needed, I will step in and do it. I've done everything except wrestle to an extent. Tony. I was in a tag team match for the championship. I got in. Unbeknownst to me, I was called into the ring. I took a chop. And then I immediately went back to commentary and walked away from my partner. That was it for me. That was the extent of my pro wrestling career. But yeah, I've done pretty much everything in the business except be a full-time wrestler, which I have no ambition or dreams or hopes to do because I respect it too much and that hurts. But yeah.
Let me piggyback off that real quick because so people know my background. I other than being a wrestling fan, I have wrestled. I have been a champion in different federations. I was the light heavyweight champion in United States Championship Wrestling out in Pittsburgh. I was trained by Mikey Whipwreck and Paul Laurier, Mike Norman, Kevin Flynn, Craig Boscia in Long Island at the Hardcore Wrestling Alliance. I am a member of the NYWC Hall of Fame with HWA. I have been a wrestler, a booker, original ECW ring crew, on manager. If it's been part of wrestling, I've done it. Now I have taken the content creator world by storm. Now I make it a big deal about the numbers because it's a numbers game, and people say, well, your numbers aren't that high. But listen, my numbers ain't that high, but my attitude and my content's great. And when you see Tantalizing Tony walk into the building, you should be afraid because I'm going to take all the attention off you, and it's going to be on me. Trust me, I'm not just saying it. Mark Henry says it. ChatGPT says it.
Yep, I will co-sign that too. Content creator journey. Discuss the path of becoming a content creator and focusing on wrestling. I think we already covered that. So we'll skip to the next one. Highlights and notable projects you have done and milestones within your wrestling content world. Actually, I'll kick this one off because
please do.
Because I think the second half of one of your answers is going to segue into my next question.
How do you know? There you go.
Because
already.
I know how the host is. I'm good at what I do as a host. All right.
You always trying to predict what I'll set in your segue, Tony. Can you spell segue? Spell it exactly.
First off, segue. It's what you drive anyway. Well, you're going to be driving someone because you're too old to walk.
Hey, listen, I got a bus. Leave me alone. Okay.
Yeah. So for me, some cool things that I've done besides just being in the business in general, as a content creator and as someone who wasn't a professional wrestler or has been trained to be a professional wrestler, to even be welcomed backstage on the other side of the guardrail, I don't take lightly. There's not a lot of people in the content space who get to the access that I get, who have get to meet the people I've met, who get to make the friendships I've made. So I'm very grateful of where I've been in professional wrestling. I think that 100% goes down to my attitude and the way I conduct myself. But some good moments. I got to meet some legends, man. I got to work with some of the legends of this industry. WrestleMania weekend, I've yet to go to a major WWE pay-per-view, but one of my milestones was working WrestleMania weekend more on an independent scene. I got to work at Suplex. They shut down the street. West Side Gun was there. There was about 3,000 people. And I got to do commentary. And there was some crazy good AEW stars there. I got to hang out with Paul London the day before at Labor of Love. So that Mania weekend was a huge highlight for me. I got to host, before Tantalizing Tony, a convention that Sting was the headliner of. I will say that. Tony sat back secretly and was like, this guy's hosting, it should be me. And then he got the big event, which was a much bigger show. So congratulations, but I did it first. And
right, he did.
But
just because you did it first,
you're doing it better. You're doing it better. The big event that you're working with Fanatics, you're doing big things. I have much respect. But I inspired you. You could say it. But no, that was a huge thing for me. Was that, and honestly, man, the connections and friendships I made along the way as a content creator, it doesn't happen if you don't hit play every day. It doesn't happen if you don't hit record. Like you said, our numbers may not be big, but I have more life experience in the last 8-9 years of being a content creator than most do in a lifetime. So I'm proud of that, and that's at least for me. I got to go to London. One of my listeners, during one of the hardest times of my life, through a divorce and restarting my life, paid for me to go to London. And I got to go see the very first All-In in Wembley Stadium. Wembley Stadium was a bucket list for me. Just that stadium alone is historic when it comes to sporting events, music events, everything. So that was amazing. That was a huge milestone for me. It was my first ever wrestling pay-per-view, and I loved it so much. I did experience a NXT Halloween Havoc in Hershey, Pennsylvania, which was a good time. But they're the only two events I went to a couple Raws and SmackDowns, but that really doesn't matter. But anyway, I'll kick it over to you, Tony.
Look, I ain't gonna lie to you. When you were in Wembley in London, I was so jealous. I really was like, oh my God, I can't believe he's there. And not jealousy in a bad way, because look, regardless of what people think, full disclosure, I do think of ABJ as a brother I can't stand. But at the same time, I love him and I love to hate him. But I had to one-up him. I had to go to Saudi, had to go to the Rumble.
That's not a one-up. Saudi's not a one-up over London.
Definitely a one-up. It's definitely
no, it wasn't. Wembley Stadium versus a stadium that was built in 3 days? Get out of here.
What matter about the stadium matters the location.
Wembley Stadium matters. That is the MSG of London. You're smoking it.
That may be true. I definitely give you credit that Wembley Stadium is a mecca of stadiums. But to step into another country in the Middle East as a black man is a little higher than going to London as a long-haired white guy. I'm just saying, okay? You look like everybody else there. Me, not so much. I might have been brown, but hey, we'll get to that part later. So I think that, I might have one-upped you a little bit. We could disagree on that one as well. But and like I said, I appreciate everything that you've done, and you've done some great things, and the numbers really don't matter. They do what they don't, because I will say this. I will give Anthony Blackwell credit. His content's good. He is a great communicator. He is a good announcer. As a person, whatever. It is what it is. But,
That's why I'm divorced now.
I'm digging it. I wouldn't do it personally, but I got 2 holes in my ears. So who am I to talk?
I got my ears pierced too. I did the ears too.
Well, there it is. Well, okay. Anyway,
we're both going through midlife crisis, I guess.
Yeah, well, I'm past the midlife crisis. I'm the old age crisis. But yeah. Listen, I can't dispute anything you've done, but what are we doing now is what matters. What matters is what we're doing now. Okay, and what we're doing now is we're talking about things that matter in wrestling. And I know you have a little format there, but I'm going to throw you a little curveball because I'm not following thinking format. Okay, I'm not following your list. You're like Chris Jericho. You just made the list. I'm not following your little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 deal there. Okay. How many things you have listed there? How many bullet points you have there?
That's the last one. That's the last one for that segment.
Oh, that it? Okay. So
for that segment, yeah.
What's next?
Well, I need to know what you're doing. What accomplishments you have done.
I'm sitting here with you. That's your accomplishment with me. Look, here's my thing. I've accomplished a lot in a 5-year period. Look, I'm the only that I know of, the only father-daughter wrestling team out here. My daughter Kira, who is on hiatus right now, still part of the channel, as you can see on the logo. But to do these things with my daughter, to go to different cities and towns and countries, Canada and everything, with my daughter is a big deal. I do stuff for Fanatics as a content creator. I got to go to Comic-Con, which for the first time ever, which is great. I just came from Saudi, from the Rumble. I've been to every WrestleMania. I mean, it's hard to say what is my highest achievement because I haven't made it yet. Because I'm still waiting for that big break where the big numbers out there, the big money guys out there sponsor me and say, hey, listen, let's give this guy a shot. I can do a commercial too, as you saw in Saudi Arabia. By the way, the Saudis love me. We'll get to that later too. But, you
did one commercial. I was like, that's kind of suspect, Tony.
The chicken one?
Oh, why did you do that? You took the Saudi money on that one.
Hey, listen, I took the Saudi. They paid me on the spot for that. Just for the record, I paid on the spot for that chicken commercial. They say, you want to do a commercial for us? We saw you. We looked at your social media. I said, yeah. I said, how much? I said, how much? He goes, how much you want? And I see one thing when you go to another country, know the breakdown of money so they can't rob you. And I told them, so I made me a nice little $500.
Nice couple of ruples, right? Is that what they had, ruples or what?
It's called SAR. I made $500. I made $500 off that commercial. Thank you very much. Put in my pocket. American. Thank you. Converted my money. So I got my dough. Okay. But I can't say what my biggest achievement is yet because I don't know because I'm not there. Because the next thing ahead of me, I got the big event coming up, which is huge. And there's so many major surprises going to be there. And this is a cheap plug. If you're in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, Philly, go to the big event. Go to bigeventny.com for ticket information. Sam Roberts will be my special guest from Not Sam Wrestling from SiriusXM Radio. And I have so many surprises, not to mention the second cosplay contest. And I will give you guys a hint. There's going to be a lot of women involved in something coming up at the big event. And you really want to be there. Names that you know.
Interesting. All right, well,
I'm so excited.
Speaking of going to Saudi Arabia, so before heading out there, what was your initial thoughts of going to Saudi Arabia, and what was your initial feelings before you got on the plane and you were going to go over there? Was it fear? Was it anxiety? Was it uncertainty?
Everything. So let's clear it up. And you might have been one of the guys who jumped on me on this because you're the first one. You said this.
I didn't say nothing. I let it go. I didn't get negative. I didn't say a word.
No, because here's the thing. When people took what I said the wrong way, when WWE announced they were going to Saudi, I was pissed.
Sure were.
Pissed.
Yep.
But not because it was there. I was pissed London didn't get it first. And I was pissed that I wouldn't be able to afford to go. I never said I wouldn't go. That never came out of my mouth one time as we losing Blackwell. It never came out of my mouth once that I would never go there. I was like, this is bull. I'm going to lose my WrestleMania streak. It was more of a selfish thing I was upset about.
Yeah.
I never said I would never set foot there. I just said, I'm not paying my own money. I said, I'll never pay my own money to go Saudi, and I didn't. So I stayed true to me, true to my word, just to clear it up. Now, aspects of anxiety, trepidation, fear, all the above. I didn't know what to expect, but Mark Henry, my friend, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, told me, hey, Tony, they just like us, bro. They just like us. He ain't got nothing to worry about. He told me that. After 2 drinks and some Xanax, I was good on the plane. I was good. Because I really worried a lot because I am an African-American, I'm a black man going to Saudi Arabia, but they are brown just like me. And I will say this, I got a lot of love. There was a little incident. We'll get in that another time. But for the most part, it was all love. I got off the plane. These guys told me the title on my shoulder. They greeted me. All the officials greeted me. I'm pretty sure you saw my social media. They loved it. And the kids loved me. Loved Alan Owens. Shout out to my boy Alan Owens. Loved the Haroon twins. It was a good experience. It was scary because at night, so I walked a few places from my hotel. My hotel was physically maybe quarter of a mile to the stadium, but there's back roads.
Not like a straight shot. You can walk there.
No, because they don't allow you to walk down the street. You have to walk 2 miles down to cross the street.
Oh, wow.
There's certain areas you have to cross. There's certain pedestrian areas. You can't just cross the street.
It's like Vegas. Like Vegas.
They will arrest you on the spot. So they said, no, you got to walk this way, and they're very deliberate on where you got to go. But I walked down a couple back alleys with my title on my shoulder, and got a little shady for a minute. I had to pull the Brooklyn on me. Say, yo, listen, if I'm going out on my sword. It was a little, but that's anywhere you go. Anywhere you go in any state, any city, any town, anywhere, there's bad people. So I will not put that on the Saudi people. They were bad. They were good to me.
I always said too with the Saudi shows, I know a lot of people I hate it, I'm not watching it, and this is something positive. I will say a little bit about WWE. Do I think this is their intentions? No, but I do think that it is good for the people of Saudi to have something of wrestling when it comes to little girls seeing females perform in a country that wasn't even allowed to happen 5 years ago. To seeing a Muslim, not a Muslim, but a Jewish man go up there and wear his flags, and he's not booed out of the building or death threats, and they cheer and love, and they love their enemy in Sami Zayn, which I still think they should have switched it on him and had a great moment for that. If they want to make a statement for the country, that they should have pulled the trigger there. But
they'll pull it at WrestleMania next year. That's what they're gonna do.
You think so?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. 100%. They got to do something with Sammy, or if they're not going to do something with him, then he has to walk because there's nothing more he can do there. But anyway, that's for another topic for another day. But I do love the fact that as Americans, and I interviewed people who I interviewed Prince Ahmed, who's from Egypt, and he loves professional wrestling, but the way he was able to consume it was like really backdoor. You had to find this right thing and get the thing and tape trade, and this is like the 90s and 2000s because it just wasn't available to them. So it is good that wrestling is an art form that's going around the world, and it's cool that the people of Saudi get to see it that way. But initial experiences and first impressions on Arrival. So you get there, you said you got nothing but love and stuff. So we'll kind of go on to the next one. Event experience. What was the atmosphere like? What was the stadium like? What was outside the stadium like? And what was the fan engagement like for the Rumble? I know they got a lot of hate for not really knowing a lot of the stars.
So here's the thing, and Lily, I'll get to your question. Yes, and yes. But I'll go in depth later, Lily. Just remind me. So if you guys don't know, they built this stadium in 20 days. It was a makeshift stadium made out of tarp, PVC pipe, and zip ties.
Slave labor's great. Yeah, they do great over there.
And wood planks and chairs.
Was it rocking?
Listen, when they started stamping their feet, the whole building shook, and I got nervous. I said, this thing comes down, I'll get some great content. That's what I thought right away. I'll get some great content on this. I said,
so during the show, people were talking about it looked empty. And I was like, no, that's an optical illusion. Those lights are taking up Because if you looked at them, some of them were there's so many things in one condensed area, it's that visually in your mind is going to take up the space of where people should be, and it did look like an empty arena, but it definitely wasn't.
I said this on Busted Open. I said this with Sam Roberts. I said this with Mark Henry and the coach. The seats were full for the most part. The lights were a problem. Those lights at the seats were an issue. It was an illusion. There were people there. The thing that was great, which I wish they would do everywhere else, is set up the fan zone outside the arena. It was masterclass. So the stadium is in the middle, and of course, what they did was they made a giant circle, put AstroTurf down, and built the fan zone around the arena. Ring entrances, pictures with this thing here, food on this side, the pre-show, the superstore. It was incredible. If they could figure out a way how to do that everywhere, you'd save so much money with travel from going to the superstore, to the arena, to the conventions, because the meet and greets, everything was there. Everything was at the stadium, either in the stadium or outside the stadium. It was great. What a great job. The downfalls of that place was food. Food was a problem. Food was a major issue. They had Domino's, they had chicken, they had stuff. If you wanted to get food, it took almost 2 hours to get something to eat.
Wow.
And it was bad.
Well, everything was kind of like they did the whole, which is kind of becoming a thing in America too. Is like they just use like shipping containers, and they cut the shipping container out and make it like a vending stand.
Yep, that's what it was. Yeah. But let me tell you something. They ran out of food, so when the Rumble started, by the time the women's match was over, no food, no drinks, nothing.
Yikes. Do they serve alcohol?
They do not serve alcohol in Saudi Arabia. It's illegal. And you are not allowed to eat at your seat. You cannot bring any food or drink to your seat. So if you eat in the fan zone, come outside the fan zone.
So if you want food, you have to leave the arena, go outside back to the fan zone, get food, and go back in.
Yes.
That's what that was something I was looking at the arena structure. I'm like, they didn't build like a corridor for food. Everything's outside.
Everything's outside.
Yeah.
When you go in, you go up to the stairs. If you're on the floor, that's one level. There's only one other level, all the way to the top, and then down another staircase. There were these. I'm going to put them on social media tonight because I didn't put some stuff up yet. I did a walkthrough. It's weird. It was weird, but you had to walk about maybe 5 flights. I was so tired, like, my God, I'm out of shape. And then you get to but here's the good thing about it: not a bad seat in the house, not a bad seat in the building, but. I sat on the floor at Alan Owens. Thank you, Alan Owens, for the ticket. But I had to leave the floor because the problem with the floor is they allow the kids to run to the rail. Hundreds of kids knocking me over. I'm not back to my seat.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah, it's a problem. Security said, what are we supposed to do? So
yeah. Comparing your expectations with the actual experience. So going into what the experience was and then leaving, did it change? What is your thoughts of the Saudi people? What is your thoughts of your environment there and leaving that country and experiencing it?
So let me give my downside about it. So nothing almost till 5:00. So I went to WWE Experience about 5 miles away, took an Uber there. I got there, it was closed. I got there at 12 noon, closed. Even though the website says open, I'm like, I'm in the middle of nowhere. This place is in the middle of nowhere. So security guys are like, construction guys are like, what are you doing here? Because they're building everything. There's so much building. You're in the wrong area. Get out of here. That's when you are in shaky ground where you're somewhere you shouldn't be. So I'm knocking on the door of WWE Experience, like, yo, what's going on? We're closed. I'm like, when are you open? 5:00. Same time as the event. So I couldn't go to WWE Experience because SmackDown and Rumble both open their doors at 5. I want to get the experience of being there. So
yeah,
that was off. What was your other question?
Just overall experience of the people and what and the culture there.
The culture. So there were some things that threw me off for a minute. The food's great, number one. No pork, of course. The layout at my hotel. Hey, shout out to the Hilton Garden Inn. If you're going to Saudi, stay at the Hilton Garden Inn. It's a 5-star. It only cost me $385 for 5 nights. Yeah, and it's a 5-star, and you've got breakfast, lunch, and dinner covered with your room. And room service, I had room service every night.
What just to kind of, you don't have to put it out there if you're not comfortable. What did a full trip, if it would have cost you, even if you would have paid for it, like the?
I know what it cost. So the airfare was $700 round trip. My room was $385
for 5 days.
For 5 days, which is great. And then my SmackDown ticket, which I purchased, my SmackDown ticket was $28. And my Royal Rumble ticket was $115.
So, and you were in another country for 5 days. That's cheaper than going to WrestleMania for 2 nights.
So WrestleMania last year, I spent at least, this is not exaggeration, $6,000.
Yeah, I can't swing that. I know. I heard people who were sitting in the nosebleeds at SummerSlam and they paid like $3,000 for 2 days, and they went and they didn't even leave their own state. And I was like, that's unreal. Like for $3,000, I went to London for a week and seen a wrestling show. My
hotel last year for the 6 nights I was there was, I think it was $1,450, So they definitely compensated. And not to mention, you guys, your dollar, the American dollar, goes a long way in Saudi. I took my Uber from the airport to my hotel, which is exactly 17 miles away, and my Uber was $9.85.
Wow.
So your dollar goes a long way. So,
all right. Enough of us. Enough of your stupid trip. No, I'm joking. And huge thanks to Vlog Warriors for supporting that trip, correct?
Yeah,
so
thank
that's
you.
Yeah.
Matt Kemke is that dude. Go to Vlog Warriors. Go to Matt Kemke on YouTube. He's already at 1 million subscribers. The guy is the salt of the earth. And if you're in the Atlanta area next Monday, I'll be at Raw. Thanks to Matt Kemke again. He's flying me in for Raw for Brock Lesnar. So I will be in Atlanta Monday. If you're in ATL, hit me up. There we go.
Brock Lesnar. Jesus. Anyway, listen, we're gonna do AEW versus WWE. You're gonna get some flack with some people. Let's get into that. The AEW versus WWE debate. I have a couple talking points that I want to cover. If you have ones you want to throw in, you can as well. What I want to do is kind of do a snake draft, right? So I'm gonna say the topic, what we're gonna talk about. You're going to say you're pro WWE. I'll say my pro AEW, and then I'll say my con AEW. Or I'm sorry, my pro AEW, my con AEW, and then you could do your con. We'll do pros for AEW, WWE, and then cons for what. You have to say something, at least something about your company negative, and just so we don't prove you're a complete mark for your thing, which it'll probably be hard for you to say anything negative about that company. But let's go into company philosophies. Contrast between the WWE structured approach with AEW's flexibility. I think that's the greatest way to kind of compare the two companies. I think one's very structured. It's been around a long time. It has a format. It has a formula. It has set the standard of what professional wrestling people think of professional wrestling, if they think wrestling should conduct itself like this, where AEW kind of thinks is outside the box and does things a little differently and sometimes gets flack for it. So I'll start with you. What is your pro WWE and your anti AEW?
So before I get there, let me say one thing. You always think that things are a certain structure. WWE has a certain structure.
They do.
No, listen. They do, because they do it better. And this is where I'll give you my pro. WWE is more entertaining. They are a sports entertainment company that wrestle. What's their face? What are you making a face for? What's the problem?
All right, go ahead.
Okay. You like the Avengers? Are you an Avenger fan? You're a Batman fan? Are you a Superman fan?
I'm a DC fan.
Okay, so you know that when you go into a DC movie, it's going to be enjoyable.
Not always.
But you know what I mean. WWE, I have never been disappointed in aspects of being entertained. Does everything always work out the way it should? No, of course not. But they always find a way to tell a story from beginning, middle to end. And you might not like the ending, and you might not like the middle or the beginning, but you do enjoy the journey. That is my pro W. I think that they do such a great job of telling stories and keeping you engaged that you watch this thing for how many years? The longest episodic television in history. We watch it every week. They have no off season. They go every day. They go every month. They go every year. They don't stop. I mean, do they regurgitate storylines? Who doesn't? Dallas Dynasty all did the same thing back in the day. So yeah, I will never say that the company's perfect because it's not. They have a lot of downfalls with them, but in aspects of being entertained, I think it's the most entertaining thing on television. Like, I can't wait to watch Raw and SmackDown. I've always find that I enjoyed it. Not every segment, but as a whole. So that's my pro WWE. Now, what do you want now? My
con AEW.
My con AEW?
Mm-hmm.
Lack of lack of storylines. Like, bro, other than Tony Storm,
Crazy.
I never know what group Moxley's in. They changed the name. First did what's the names before?
Blackpool Combat Club.
Then they're the Death Riders. Then there's something else. Then they got this guy in the faction. I never know who's doing what. Mark Briscoe's on this show, and now he's here. And who's a face, and who I never know what's going on in aspects of who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. That's what I want to know all the time. That's what keeps me engaged. Good versus evil. In this fact, you're the devil and I'm an angel. Like, this is a perfect thing right here. Like, I want to know who is telling this story. How'd you get there and why?
Is Roman a good guy or a bad guy?
Oh, what?
Is Roman a good guy or a bad guy?
So here's where you get into a little bit of a but he's pushed as a face. He's pushed as a face. They might call it a tweener, like he's a Stone Cold guy, but we all know he's a face. He's talking to the crowd, acknowledge me. He did it as a heel, but you still love the guy. He's a face. He's a good guy.
Okay. All right. Well, I will switch now I'll stick with company philosophies because that's what the topic was. I think the AEW's philosophy, I'll start with the pros of AEW. I think AEW's philosophy to change things up and not do things the same way. I like how they treat every champion like a champion. They don't treat it like a secondary. I think every champion they try to treat as if it's a big deal. And I like that. And I like how they continuously rotate the champions to main events of pay-per-views. The world champion's not always your closure. It's who's getting the bigger push for the story at that point in time. And I like that they don't do exactly copy and paste of what their competitor does. I like that they try to do something different and try to create their own formula and have their own philosophy on how they do things. I think they do a better job of rotating stars. When a Kenny Omega leaves the company for 2 years or a year for injury, MJF leaves for a year, Swerve Strickland leaves for a year, Will Ospreay leaves for a year. They rotate three things. They have a super stacked, deep roster. And I think they do a good job between the two shows they have of playing almost like a shift of hockey, where this week we're going to roll with this storyline, then we roll with this storyline next week, and then this every week is a different guy, a different story, a different thing, and then it all culminates in the pay-per-view at the end of the month. I like that philosophy. I think they change it up a lot too, which makes it always interesting, and it makes it more interesting to watch on that side. Philosophies of WWE. My cons. I don't like the fact that since I am a child, WWE can only push 3 people max at one time. 3 people are the focus of the entire company. Everybody else is made to feel lesser than. They can get somewhat storylines, but nobody really cares about it. And if you don't care about their top 3 guys, then you're kind of crap out of luck because everybody else is made to feel lesser than. The philosophy of AEW, sorry, just to kind of backtrack a little bit. The philosophy of AEW right now, where it looks at the independent scene and goes, hey, you're really good on the independent scene. You're special. I like what you bring to the table. Come to us and let's give you a bigger platform to make that character better. Where WWE says, hey, you're on the independent scene. We don't want you to go to our competition. So we're going to bring you here, push you for like 4 or 5 months, and then stick you in catering until your contract expires. And then we're going to let you go because we'd rather you sit in our catering than possibly be a competition on our competition. So that's kind of my pros and cons when it comes to WWE and AEW. I think they do a fine job with other things that we'll get into later, but just overall philosophies, that's my big takeaway of what I don't like. Now, I will say something positive about WWE, and I'll let you say something positive about AEW. WWE, I do think because they are the Coca-Cola of pro wrestling, I think they have a better job of keeping people engaged. I think they hold their fans' hands a lot when it comes to doing the aspect of recap, remind you every single 3 seconds what happened last week, the week before, what happened 15 seconds ago. That kills me and takes me out of the show. but it helps their fan base stay more engaged and do that. So they do a good job when it comes to what their fan base does. It's just personally not for me.
So I want to just go back real quick before I give you my positive on AEW. You said something about the championships, about, they highlight this champion, the Continental Champion, and this champion, this champion. Listen, guys, when you're the heavyweight champion of the world, that's the number one title. That's the title you should focus on.
What if there's two of them?
Excuse me? Yeah,
what if there's two of them?
They have two shows.
No, it's not. It's not. You have two world champions.
And that's
you diminish your champion by just doing that right alone.
Not true. Not true. What you're doing is you're showing you have versatility to give another.
No, it's showing that you have to appease the money sponsors, so you make two world champions.
Another brand, a champion. It's fine. Okay, you got Drew on one side, and right now you got Punk on the other, and they're both legit world champions, and I believe it. When you're saying that all these championships, I love the IC title. The IC title to me was the workhorse title. Mm-hmm. It's my favorite title. But I don't want to see that in the main event of WrestleMania. I want to see the heavyweight championship. And with the way AEW goes, they got the Continental Champion, I don't even know what champion is what.
Are we gonna do the debate of who has more belts?
It doesn't, but I know the position of the belts. I know that in WWE,
because you watch it more.
The Universal Champion is the top there. Then the US title. Then is the tag titles. And then you have the women's titles in that aspect. Women's title, women's US. Same thing with, so I get it. That speed title does not count. That is some manufactured BS, okay? But listen, I digress on that one. So my problem with the AEW title picture is that what is the Continental Champion and why do you have it? Like, what does he represent? I don't get it. I don't get the Continental Champion. Like, you tell me the Continental Champion and the AEW Champion are equal people, are equal championships?
They treat every champion like it's a championship.
And that's like giving everybody a freaking prize when they freaking finish last.
But if you just tell people you have two world champions, it's the same thing. You're contradicting yourself.
Yeah, Johnny, you finished last. Here's a prize. Here's a trophy. Get out of here. That's the problem.
Oh, you work for USA, so you get your own world champion. You're on Netflix. You get your own world champion.
But that's corporations controlling things.
That diminishes your title.
How does it diminish it
because you can't have two of the best. One's taking a back seat.
I'll tell you this right now. I see more WWE Universal Championships and more World Championships in the stands that do AEW titles from their shop. Because guess what? They want to buy those things. They market their stuff, so you want to buy their merchandise, and WWE does their thing right. But let me just give my
AEW belts are really expensive too. That's a triple plate. That's a triple plate belt. So there's 3 stacks on that. That's
that title. 2 people in the whole arena have them. Come on.
It's a beautiful. It's a very big crafted title. It's a triple plate belt, and that's why it costs so much.
Yeah, it's nothing like that one right there. Okay, that's right there. That's the real championship right there. Okay. Anyway. So
the Saudi has his own champion too. Sorry, go ahead.
They do. So let me tell you
3 world champions.
I do like AEW in aspects of they keep it like it's independent. They make you feel like you're part of the action. But every match they have is a banger. It's banger after banger.
Well, let's not go too far because that's going to be a segment coming up. This is just company philosophy right now.
Oh, philosophy. Yeah. Well, their philosophy. Sorry. See, guys, here we go with the intellectual trying to correct me, the street guy.
Well, we're staying on topic. That's how a debate show works. Stay on topic.
I don't got to stay on anything, okay? This half is my show, and that half is your show, okay? You see how many names ABJ, my sense? See that? That's why you got sides like that, okay? So I will say what I want to say. But I will say AEW does a good job of promoting wrestlers. If you're independent wrestler, you can shine. Your actual wrestling acumen does matter a little more than it does in aspects of how WWE makes you want you to be a bigger presence. But see, me being such a big presence as I am, I would shine in WWE, and AEW is beneath me. They're beneath me. I'm saying it, and I will see AEW stars in the big event, and I'll tell them to their face. I don't care. Okay, I think the company's great. Don't get me wrong, I do. I think they're great. I cannot say nothing against those wrestlers. They work hard. Some of those guys used to be W wrestlers. But as a whole, on how the product is presented to us, it's a rinky-dink organization, like the SWI and Alex. It's like a rinky-dink organization. I feel that Tony Khan is the biggest mark in the business. I said it, clip it, send it to him. He doesn't realize how to run a company. He doesn't realize how to keep things moving forward, because if he did, why are they so terrible in the ratings? They can't get anybody to stay with the product. Only the people that love them to death and want to hate on WWE. I don't hate AEW. I just don't like it.
Well, I can counter why they don't get the same media presence is because TKO is a media conglomerate champion, and TKO, let's just keep it a buck. TKO pays big organizations and media people money to not talk about AEW as a competition, and that kills them in the media. And when all the content creators and all the media people are pro one company and not the other, listen, it happened back in the day with Xbox and Sony. Sony spent more money paying people to say they were better than Xbox, and were they? No, but it swayed the people's minds to go one way or the other. And when it comes to Tony Khan being a mark, I'll take a mark all day over someone who's going to traffic me in a sex game.
Wow.
So we'll go that route. Give me my little mark all day long. At least I know he cares about the art form of professional wrestling, where the other guy who held that company down for years and years and years literally wanted to remove the name of professional wrestling and make it sports entertainment, and wanted to kill the business that was essentially he took away from everybody else. But that's a conversation.
First of all, wait, you know what? I'm gonna.
Go ahead.
No. This is gonna sound crazy. I'm gonna defend Vince.
Yikes! Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. What Vince is accused of has nothing to do with me. I will tell you this. Everybody's so mad at Vince that he went through all the territories and picked up this and picked up this. It's called capitalism. It's called business.
Mm-hmm.
It's called I'm bigger than you. If you can't keep up with me, oh bad. Too bad. This is the way the world works, guys. I'm sorry.
Sure.
It sucks. I don't. Everybody's like, what? 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 Listen, it's the way business works.
But here's the thing. I'm going to pose it to you. Are you a pro wrestling fan? Do you love the art of professional wrestling? Do you love the business of professional wrestling?
I do.
Vince is single-handedly trying to kill it and only make it only for himself.
It's because I sure know that WrestleMania 3, 93,167 people in the stands. WrestleMania 18, Hogan versus The Rock. What has he done? It's been so bad when it comes to Africa.
That's fine, but I give the same love to someone on the independent scene to working for 50 people who are doing the same art, because I think the art is important.
But here's the thing. Art doesn't always pay. Art doesn't always listen. You could have great artists that will never be discovered and be starving in the street with a can of potatoes. Okay, eating out the thing. But then you got Andy Warhol that makes a Campbell's soup can. He's next thing you know, he's the greatest thing on earth, because that's subjective. Everything's subjective. Wrestling subjective. Art is subjective. And of course, I love the art of professional wrestling. I am a former semi-retired professional wrestler, so I get it, but things evolve, things change over time. You go with the times. If wrestling was that gone, then we wouldn't see good matches like we see. Look, Seth Rollins is probably arguably one of the best wrestlers in the business right now. He's killing the game. You got people in the company like, still like Kofi Kingston, and people like in WWE that can still go, that have great matches. So I don't know if he killed the business. What did he do to kill the business? Because the business is booming. And people are like, TKO. Yeah, well, things happen. TKO took over. Are they a wrestling company? No. Do they know what they're doing? I don't know. They're making more money than me. I'm sitting here broke talking about them. So apparently they know what they're doing. I hate that people want to bash. Oh, okay. People want to stay away from the Vince topic, okay? Because it's taboo.
If he came back, like the rumors are saying, would you accept him?
Here's my thing, okay? I don't know what Vince did and didn't do. I wasn't there. I'm going to say this. My career is over. I've been accused of something before that I didn't do by a woman.
Okay.
Back 30 years
was there emails and text messages to prove that you were probably involved in
it? No, because it didn't happen. My point is
Vince does.
There can be manipulated. There are things that can be changed.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm not
fake news, not real.
That's not what I'm saying. Is we don't know the whole story, and it hasn't come out yet, so we don't know. We have to.
We know enough of the history of WWE and the disgusting things that happen backstage to say it's not possible is wild. If you know this company and you've been following it and you know the stuff that's been going on.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Don't nobody here turn around and say, "Oh, Tony went rogue because he loved WWE and he signed." I'm saying this. I'm not gonna quote something I don't know. I don't know what happened. I know what he's accused of, and I know in this country, you're innocent until proven guilty. So that's all I can say.
I know he was forced out of his own company by TKO because it was that bad.
But you don't know the reason. You don't know the exact reasons. You don't know exactly
because he's been accused of sex trafficking his employees.
Being accused of something and being found guilty of something are two different things. And that's when you listen.
But it really helps that his wife's on a cabinet of a director of boards that's working for a president who's burying the Justice Department. So he'll do just fine, and he'll probably be back in a year or two.
Like I said, above my pay grade until I know the truth. I won't. I've stayed away from this thing from day one. Trust me. I've stayed away from it because I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Good thing he's not a money mark like Tony Khan. Am I right?
But I don't here's the thing. I don't have a problem with Tony Khan being a money mark. I don't have a problem with that.
Tony Khan may do a little cocaine.
Tony Khan being a money mark is not my problem. My problem with Tony Khan is that he doesn't run his company, that everybody else runs his company but him.
Interesting. Well, are you back there? Do you know?
I do know.
But you also know the other stuff at the other company, but you just don't want to talk about it. I don't know any
of that.
Exactly.
I have a good authority how Tony Khan runs the company because I know people that have worked there.
Sure. And I will probably take Tony Khan's lack of what he may lack than the toxic environment that the WWE has been for years.
And that's fair. And that's very fair. And I don't disagree with that. What I'm saying is that people saying that Vince destroyed wrestling. He did it because
he generally to literally, if you watch Vince's documentary on Netflix, he openly says the idea of professional wrestling he doesn't like. He wanted to get away from the rednecks and the white trash and make it a cigar tie event. He wanted to make WWE. He wanted to price out his fans, and essentially got to a point with TKO. That's exactly what he's doing. He wants it to be more of an up. He wants WWE to be like how UFC is right now, where it costs you tons and tons of money to sit front row, and he wants celebrity. They both do. That's why he sold to TKO so he can get that exposure. But that's been his philosophy and goal for years. He wants to make it a star-studded, a celebrity event every single time.
I disagree with the money aspect because I know when Vince was in charge, you could afford a ticket, and you can't now. So
because he now has that media conglomeration where he can now force feed that to go higher. But if you watch the Netflix documentary, that's been his goal since the start.
Look, I this is my thing. Okay, we all taught as young children to be number one. Okay, to annihilate your opponent, and it might sound cutthroat, but guess what? I hate being number two. I do. I hate being number two. I hate. I'll keep it 100. I hate this. Not that I have any problem with my success, but I hate to see other content creators out there going to movie premieres and going to stuff when I know I could be there too and I deserve it. I hate it because I shouldn't be back here sitting in this room right now. I should be out there doing my thing. But Lily said, if you ain't first, you're last. And I'm not trying to be last. I'm trying to be first. The difference with me is I'm not gonna be put in a position where I have to make a decision. Hey, that I did anything to anybody the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying. And people go say, oh, Tony, you love WWE so much that you'll just turn the other cheek. No, I'm not stupid. I'm not going to quote something. I'm not going to talk about something I don't have any firsthand knowledge of.
Yeah. I'll keep it a buck. And I'm not saying this, and you know me personally, and you know what I stand on and what I a lot of things I go to try to make concessions for things. But if I was offered a WWE contract, I would have a really hard time accepting it. I would really have to think about that. It's not something I would jump on because I don't know if I'd be able to be backstage and see something and not be able to talk about it. That would make me uncomfortable. But anyway, let's get away from philosophy and stuff. We talked a little bit about storytelling.
Nobody's hurt over it. I'm not hurt. This is what happens on the internet, right? Everybody takes a quote out of context. What I'm saying is, I would love to be invited to these things like the other content creators because
yes,
what they're doing. I'm not crying. And just so you know, a person sent me the Saudi, not a company, a person, a friend. It wasn't like a company said, "Hey, here's tickets, here's this, cover this." So I'm not hurt. I'm saying is that I would love to be in their position. Let me explain something to other people too. I'll say things in the heat of the moment. You might take it some certain way, and that's the way you take it. But I'm not scared or hurt or afraid to say what's in my mind, and I don't covet anything anybody has. I just would like to be in a position that they are to make decisions to further my wrestling.
You want your slice of the pie. I respect that.
Yeah, so it's cool, and and I get it. Yeah, and people are like, "Oh, you just destroyed Ray. Be thankful." I don't got to be thankful. I want more. Who wants one piece of cake?
Sure. Do you want to dive more into storytelling, or do you think I think we kind of talked about it when it came to that, but do you want to dive more into it, or do you want to go to the next topic?
Let's go next topic, bro.
So let's go in-ring style. What is the difference? Yeah, I know it is getting late. We're probably going to cut the CM Punk segment and add that to next week's show, just do the WWE versus AEW this week. So in-ring style, discuss the differences of wrestling styles and match pacing. I'll start this one. I think the AEW match structure style and how they tell a story in the ring is light years better than WWE, especially now more than ever. I think there was a point in time where you can look forward to at least the big 4 pay-per-views from WWE. And I think the last couple big pay-per-views that WWE put together, at least even the last Mania, I thought was a huge letdown. I thought the matches were lazy. I don't think they put the work rate in that they normally do for matches. I thought maybe 1 or 2 matches got to shine, and the rest of them had to be hokey and boring. Where I think AEW puts a show on and a match on a Wednesday night Dynamite that could rival a WWE pay-per-view match because they let their talent have that freedom to go work. Now, there's a caveat to that. When you work that hard all the time, that's when the injuries happen in your company. But this isn't ballet, so they have that different philosophy and structure when it comes to it. But as a wrestling fan, I appreciate that I'm going to tune into a Wednesday night and I'm going to see the wrestling performances that are going to be put on in AEW are going to be 110% every single time, and they're not just half-assing it, waiting to get to the next week, so then they can go and perform for the pay-per-view. But to me, just going to the cons of WWE, I think even right now with the way they're doing it, I think they're playing it too safe. And I think even more so when it comes to the road to WrestleMania, I think they play it extra safe because they bank so much on 2 or 3 or 4 guys for that WrestleMania that they're setting up right now that they throw away the match quality leading up because they're protecting their talent so there's no risk of injury. And I think they're doing it harder now because their talent are all 40, 50 years old, and they're all older guys, so they can't push their body the way they used to. And right now, I think the build to WrestleMania, because they're leaning on the older talent instead of the younger guys and pushing the older talent, that they don't put on as exciting matches and match quality as their competition does currently. And that's just where I'm going to go with my pros and cons. Also with the in-ring style, when it comes to there's nothing more that frustrates me watching Raw and Smack. I stopped watching SmackDown after 3 hours. I can't do 3 hours anymore on a weekly television show to watch all the way to your main event that you've been pushing for about 80% of the time end in DQ. I am so sick of a Raw and a SmackDown ending in a DQ and having 5 DQ finishes or interferences or some kind of chicanery because they won't allow a wrestler to take a loss or a win. It drives me crazy. It's like, what am I watching this for? You like AJ and Punk were having a somewhat decent match. I thought it could have been better. AJ can only do so much with CM Punk being the style wrestler he is right now. But they're finally starting cooking, and then it ends in DQ. And every single WWE weekly show is the same thing every time. You can almost guarantee if you see 2 big names on the marquee for the main event, it's not ending clean. No one's taking a loss here. And that frustrates me as a pro wrestling fan trying to watch WWE as a weekly product, where at least on AEW, the wrestling's good, and sometimes they reward you for watching weekly because they'll do a title change or something exciting happens or have a big moment because they don't always wait for a 4 pay-per-view. That kind of goes with the philosophy of their company too, that they allow cool stuff to happen on their weekly television.
which is great. And this is why AEW is number 2 to WWE, because they give you everything for free on television. And WWE has a template that, okay, we're not going to give you it for free. We're going to keep doing this, ending in a DQ, getting a good match. And you took it away. And you have to watch the pay-per-view. This is why AEW is number 2. This is the reason, because you're giving away everything for free. Oh, there's a title change every week. Tommaso Ciampa just got there, won the title, lost the title. 2 weeks later, he's not the champion anymore. It's, and now Kyle Fletcher, which is Kyle Fletcher versus Tommaso Ciampa, banger of a match. Banger. But guess what? They'll have a banger next week. And the next week. I'm not trying to see 18 bangers of a match every week. It sounds crazy.
That's crazy.
Why?
I don't want to watch good wrestling.
Listen. then what do you have to look forward to?
Because they still step it up on their pay-per-views. Their pay-per-views are top-notch every time.
Pay-per-view match and a Dynamite match, exactly the same to me. Exactly the same. Exactly. Listen, I'll use a perfect example. A woman. That woman that you really want with all your heart, you don't want to just say yes right away. You want to chase her a little bit. You want to be able to schmooze her and romance her and then get the payoff that you've waited for. Sometimes it might take a year. Sometimes
let me interject real quick. When they do the same formula every single time, DQ, and that's their formula of storytelling, that's so much better. They never change it up. It's the same stuff. It's literally Sesame Street. You can literally put it on and be like, all right, I know the next 6 months of booking because it's been the same thing for the past 10 years.
They're the number 1 wrestling company in the
new
business.
era. We're a new era. A new era's coming.
The number 1 wrestling company in the business for a reason.
Media.
I don't know what everybody wants. People Sosa says there's no reason CM Punk and AJ in the DQ. Why not? Why not? Because you say so? Apparently the powers that be are telling a story they want to tell to get you to come back, because guess what? People keep coming back. You're like saying something that it doesn't work. Apparently it works, because this is the longest reigning wrestling company around. Where's WCW? Gone. Where's ECW? Gone. Will AEW be in 5 years? Gone. Please.
It won't.
Please. If you think AEW be around in 20 whatever it is, 2029, please. Okay.
They have money. They'll keep it around.
Yeah.
TNA had the same with TNA. They have enough money they can stay around.
Anthony. They're not making a profit. They haven't made
AEW is making a profit as a wrestling company. They're making money.
For the next show, we'll get the analytics and how much money they made. They make nothing. But my point is like, you say, they're in the DQ. So what? So what? What does it hurt that it ended in DQ? You didn't get the finish you wanted. But you're going to come back next week and watch.
It ends in DQ every single week.
That's not true. It's not true. It's not true. And
how often does a weekly wrestling main event on WWE end in DQ? How often?
I would say once every 3 weeks.
You are crazy. It's at least 80%.
No way. You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. It doesn't happen that much. And what's wrong with the disqualification?
What was the finish of this week's Raw? Main event.
What was the main event? You remember?
I don't, because I tune out halfway through because I have no expectations for it.
Wasn't it LA Knight? What was the finish?
Oh, it was LA Knight. It was a triple threat, and it ended with someone taking a low blow and interference, and everybody running in, and a whole bunch of chicanery.
And LA won. LA's going to the chambers.
Yeah.
That was a pin.
But once again, nobody can end clean. 45 people have to be involved because, God forbid, a guy takes a fucking.
No, I don't
guy takes a pin.
Because I have a grade 4 concussion. I was in a car accident. I have a grade 4 concussion, so it takes a minute for me to retain things. If you notice, I said LA Knight. Okay, calm down.
Yeah. I remember. Too.
Yeah. I have a life. I have a job. I have a concussion. But here's my thing. And I love Sosa because he's throwing me off, which is great. He's like, I got him. But my thing is this, is that if things at WWE didn't work, why are they still here? Why have they acquired TNA, have a deal with them? Why AAA? Why Evolve? Because they know what they're doing, the aspects of business and making this thing more mainstream, making this better. So I don't know what everybody's gripe is. I get it. You can love who you love, and you can love AEW. You can love the things. Like I said, like Tim Ross says, AEW Blood and Guts, way better than Survivor Series. There's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But you can love something. Does that mean it's successful? Is it going to be here in 5 years? Okay, if I ask you this question, will WWE be here in 5 years? What's your answer?
Yeah.
Will AEW?
Yes.
You sure?
Will WWE be owned by TKO after their contract runs up?
Who knows?
Or do you think the Saudis will buy it?
Who knows? I mean,
listen, we know.
If the Saudis buy it, that's a different story entirely.
That's going to happen.
But it could happen.
They're going to buy that and UFC. Spoiler alert, it's going to happen.
But my point is that WWE's MO is what you said. DQ here, maybe every 2 weeks, maybe whatever. But guess what? People keep tuning in.
Sure.
They're beating AEW in the ratings, and ratings is what gets you sponsors, and sponsors is what makes you money, and money is what makes the world go around. Sorry.
Sure. But also, just to be fair, because we don't know WWE's practices, there is a lot of times where WWE is outperforming and doing better than AEW because of the way WWE also does business. If there's if there's competition, WWE will go out of their way to try to stifle or hurt or take out their competition by telling arenas they can't book them, telling TV deals they can't go through because they don't like them. If they generally did just said, hey man, I'm really glad there's wrestling for everybody, and let's just have wrestling for everybody, and competition is good for us, it gives more people jobs, more people everything, that would be no problem. But WWE clearly goes out of their way to step on the neck of every single person around them because they want to be the only wrestling company, and I don't like that philosophy.
I disagree with that, because if that's the case, they could focus on AEW and crush them. They could crush them if they're
trying to. They're trying to.
If they really
want they counter program them every time they get a chance. They try to do as much as they possibly can when it comes to the counter programming. They're not allowing them to run certain arenas around the nation. They pay media to trash them every chance they get. They're doing a lot to try to crush them. But unfortunately, the best part about it is AEW used to play into it and talk about it and play into it, and they learned the more they did, it didn't make them look any better. So they shut up and they focused on themselves, and I think it has changed the landscape of AEW since.
I hate that people love this country so much, right? We love America, but then you get upset when capitalism takes the forefront. Like,
do you want only one product of everything? Like, there should only be one soda. There should only be one television show. Like,
did I say that?
But that's what you're saying by capitalism.
You think Coke is trying to help Pepsi?
No, but they're not also going out of their way to say, "Hey, you can't put Pepsi in this store. If you put Pepsi in this store, we're gonna pull all of our Coke product."
There's certain arenas you can't drink Pepsi in.
Yeah, certain arenas and fast food, sure, but like general grocery stores where everybody can go and buy the products for everybody. They're not saying you can't go to Walmart and buy no Pepsi if Coke is the only place you can buy our products are Coke, and like there's certain spaces where everyone should be able to put their business and be able to exist.
I know that we said we're going to wait to the end for questions, but Sosa's saying, well, there's a difference between capitalism and monopoly. Yeah, but WWE's not monopolizing the game because it's to the independents.
Realistically, as a content creator, because I worked with you at this point in time, when AEW wasn't around, WWE was almost unbearable to watch. There has been a lot of times where the company is like, this is horrible. And when competition came, they got better.
I agree. I agree with you 100%. I agree that before AEW was around, it was like, okay, cut and paste. I get it.
I think they're back to it again.
Well, maybe they are, but my point is that they always find a way. Look, you're going to have ebbs and flows. You're going to have lulls. You're going to have dead time in anything you do. Not every Game of Thrones episode is great. Not every Breaking Bad episode is great. Sometimes there's just character development in these things. And maybe sometimes WWE is developing characters. Look, you're telling me that WWE is not a company that builds from the bottom up? Let's look at people that are in the main event now. Dean Ambrose, a.k.a. John Moxley from the farm system of WWE. Even though he was on the indie, he was an
indie guy.
But listen, he got more popular there. Seth Rollins, Ring of Honor guy, of course, indie guy, but farm grown NXT. Same thing with Roman. How about all the other guys that are now in the main event picture that were NXT? Not to mention, how about now with Braun Breaker and Trick Williams and Obafemi and all these other guys, all the women that are coming up. They building from the ground up. They got evolved. So and now you got the other show, LFG. So they're doing things like WID. And yes, is WID made to take them off the indie scene? Of course it is. But guess what? That's when an independent wrestler must take advantage of being a WID prospect. You don't have to say yes. You have an opportunity to say no. Anybody can say no to whatever company you want to say no to.
Sure, absolutely can.
Matt Cardona went back, and he was making way more money. But guess what? He's back because his wife's there. He wants to do his thing. And people are like, oh, he sold out. No, he bought in. Give me a break.
He's been wanting to go back every time you interviewed him. He wanted to go back. They just weren't taking him. Well, that's a good segue to the next topic: talent freedom. How does the company allow creative freedom and talent AEW compared to WWE?
I think that AEW does a good job of letting wrestlers be who they are, but that's bad because you get crappy storylines. Like there's no direction. Like their promos, the promos in the ring, for the most part, are not that good unless it's big stars. Their backstage segments are terrible. You can't tell me AEW's backstage segments are good, that they're entertaining. They're not. Unless Tony Storm's involved. I can say no wrong about Tony Storm. Okay, she's my favorite. Her and Willow. Willow's my girl. Willow's my girl. But when it comes to developing characters, I like that WWE helps you guide your way, because if you knew how to do it so well, you'd be making money on the indies, killing the game. You need structure. You need people to help you go the right direction. Listen, if WWE was to pick me up today, I can't go as me. They've got to streamline me. They've got to say, Tony, you have to do this better. You have to take away from this. Mark Henry gave me some great advice. Hey, you can't be tantalizing 24/7. You can't be. You're great. So CCO, you're great at what you do. You're incredible. But sometimes you're a little too tantalizing. Just be you. Be Tony. And he's right. You can't, somebody like me needs structure. I need somebody to tell me, hey, go this way. The problem with AEW is they give him too much creative freedom, which is crappy. And we're going to disagree on this. I'll use my man, what's his name? Oh my God, my brain's not working. New York guy. No, not the other guy. Beer belly guy. What's wrong with my brain right now?
Beer belly guy from New York.
Everybody loves him. He's a scrap. He's the workhorse. Him and CM Punk had flack. Him and Cesaro had flack.
Brody?
Yeah. Not Brody. What's the bald guy's name? The bald Spanish guy, black guy.
Bald black Spanish guy. What?
Beer belly. Never in shape. Always wants to fight.
Not black. You're talking about Eddie Kingston.
Thank you, Craxus. Bro, he can't cut a promo to save his life.
You're crazy. Eddie Kingston's amazing on the microphone. He's authentic. You know who Eddie Kingston is? Eddie Kingston's Jacob Fatu. People like him because they're real. People gravitate to them because they're real.
I think Eddie Kingston is great. I think he's incredible. But when he doesn't, there's no structure to what he's saying. It's all over the place. It's like me. He rambles. He's a rambler. And you can't, my thing is there's a cadence in WWE. Yes. Are we trained? Yeah, in a way. But there's a cadence to promos in WWE that make you go, oh. With him, it's just like, they kick your, to me.
Because WWE, they're all writers. They're not allowed to go out and improv for the most part.
Not true. We know that's not true anymore. That might have been the case before, suffer succotash. But now they're allowed a little more leeway, depending on who you are. But to me, they give them too much character development, and they don't know how to develop the characters.
Interesting. I like the talent freedom. I'll take it in a different direction. I like the fact that a talent in AEW can have outside of business adventures that WWE then had to change because they were losing people to that company because WWE wasn't allowing to have people to have their opportunities to make money elsewhere with their gaming streams or maybe their adult content things or anything like or ways to go make other monies at conventions. Where WWE wants to own your name, they want to own your blood, they want to own everything about you, and the reason why they have to give you your own name is because you're not allowed to own it when you leave. And once again, business practices are not my favorite there. We have two more, and we'll wrap this up. Fan engagement. How does each company's company interacts with its fans? I'll let you start first.
Everybody has to be part of the show. Everybody in AEW swears they're part of the show. And you're going to say, well, so does WWE. Wait, so does WWE. The difference is this, is that the fans' engagement in WWE, to me, and this is my opinion, like, oh, no. Like, people get so mad. What are you mad at? This is me. This is my show, my part of my show, the show. This is Blackwell's part of his show. Shut up. Go get your own show. I think that the fan engagement is much better in aspects of how they direct you into merch, into sales, into you like being part of the show. Like I think their merch is better in aspects of fan. I will buy WWE shirt before I buy an AEW shirt, and I would buy a CM Punk. I have bought a CM Punk AEW shirt before because he's Punk, but I think they give you more. I think they give the fans more. There's more interaction with stuff like going to Fanatics and going to like the meet and greets. And I think they engage the fans more with mainstream stuff like cricket and Netflix. And I think they have more. I just think they make you get more in tune with things. Now, I will say that the family aspect has changed a little bit. The family dynamic has changed because of TKO. And I think it's one of the downfalls. I'm not saying that AEW doesn't have good fan reaction because they do. The fans are passionate. Listen, I have no problem with AEW. I don't hate them. I just think WWE is better. I've gone to AEW shows and I've interacted with people, and I've loved every WWE show I've gone to, but I just think that there's a little more freedom as a fan with WWE that you don't get in AEW, and aspects of just the pop. I think the pop, they know how to pop you. I don't think AEW pops you right. I don't think you pop at the right moments. I think that's all over the place. I think that when you're in a WWE show, you know that you're going to get that incredible pop at the end of the WrestleMania, not last year's, but for the most part. Listen, Cody versus Roman WrestleMania 40. Come on, man. Avengers month. People overbooked. Get out of here. What a top 5 WrestleMania moments ever. Okay.
No.
YouTube says different. YouTube algorithm and YouTube. Shot.
That was the dumbest way to end that story. The Undertaker, it's horrible.
Listen,
WWE leans on their legends way too much.
Because people love nostalgia.
Because WWE teaches you as an audience member that when a legend comes in, they are better than everyone on the roster exactly at that moment, and they need to get away from that.
They brought back Will and Grace. If they could bring back Friends, they would. They bring back old shows. They brought back Roseanne. People love nostalgia. Nostalgia, listen, everybody loves the Attitude Era, and everybody loves ECW because of what they did nostalgia-wise. So I don't have a problem with them going to the Undertaker, the gong going, and he freaking chokeslams The Rock. It was cool. He didn't ruin the match. It was 10 seconds. People want to. I
would have preferred if everyone who was involved in the actual storyline was part of them running it off, and I would have liked Cody to have his opportunity to have that one-on-one moment where he was the one to beat Roman, and he needed everyone's help to do it, and I think it diminished Cody, and I don't think the fans connect with him ever since then. And I think The Rock calling all the fans Cody crybabies because The Rock's so over, I think they killed Cody's opportunity as a world champion. I don't think he was ever taken seriously.
He was taken seriously. He's a former 2-time WWE champion, and
80% of your fan base didn't like him there. The only ones who liked him were the little kids.
Not true.
I think they made Cody the go-away heat John Cena of back in the day too soon. They could have made him the John Cena wherever, like the absolute golden babyface, and now everybody wants Cody to turn heel. They hate him as the babyface.
Good.
That's not good. They need that giant baby face in your company. There's no giant baby face right now. Cody's that guy. And they chopped his legs out so they can appease The Rock.
They're building new stars. You got people like Braun. You got people like Obafemi.
Braun's not a baby face. Obafemi, I'm sorry to tell you, Obafemi, there's one problem with Obafemi in that company.
What's that?
He's black. WWE does not push black talent very well.
That has been the case. I will admit that. But I will tell you this, Obafemi will be the exception to the rule. They have big high hopes. And listen, a lot of people go, well, they don't push black talent. They don't, so my issue with that is this, and I don't disagree with you.
And when they do push black talent, then Brock Lesnar comes out and beats the hell out of them and diminishes them right away.
Look, I can't tell you why more black superstars have not made it to the top. I will not say they're racist because I don't think that's the case.
I think they have a bad culture.
Huh?
I think they have a bad culture. I think they have a lot of guys backstage who are old school guys who work there who have been notorious holding back black talent, and they're still there.
I think that
The Rock is not credited for his blackness. They like him because he's Samoan.
Well, he's black. His father's black.
His father's black, but trust me, they're not leaning into the Rocky Johnson aspect of him. They're leaning into his blood dynasty side of him. He's 100% more revered for his Samoanness than he is his blackness.
And they do push his Samoanness more because that's what sells. Look, the bloodline was the biggest storyline in years. But like I said, as it comes to the black people making it to top level, shareholders, who knows what the reason is. Like I said, I hate the people. Oh, Triple H is racist. You can't call somebody something if you don't know them, And historically, black people have always been behind in everything. We've always been held back in everything. So it's not just wrestling; it's everything. Okay, Jackie Robinson to break the color barrier for us to play baseball. Sometimes it takes us African Americans. I'm not making excuses. I'm saying how it is, and I appreciate your comment. I'm not making excuses. Like when you make a point of something because you see the other side of it, doesn't mean I'm.
Don't worry about the chat right now. Stay on topic. Keep going.
No, but the thing is, people say, "Oh, you're making excuses." It doesn't. It's not an excuse. It's seeing the other side of the coin. And I didn't disagree with Blackwell. I said he's right. I would love to see more black people. I'm the one pushing for Montez Ford still to this day. Montez Ford is a star and should be at the top of the food chain. But what I'm saying is that everybody says, oh, Triple H is racist. They're racist. You don't know that for a fact. People always make
every time they have any ethnic group in the company, they let them go for a little bit as a singles guy. And then I'm going to be completely honest. You want my honest hot take? Here's my honest hot take.
Was Kofi selling merch? Was Big E selling merch? What
they were selling New Day. They were selling New Day merch because the New Day was amazing because it was the first time that we got to see a black stable of men who didn't have to be portrayed as criminals or thugs or hood people, and that was beautiful. The New Day was so special because of that.
Agreed, but you don't know what Big E's shirt sales was as a solo guy, as a champion.
It's probably terrible. I don't see anyone wear a Big E t-shirt.
Huh?
I don't see anyone wearing just a Big E t-shirt. When's the last time you seen a Big E t-shirt or a Kofi t-shirt?
Hey, Marco, I'm not trying to stay. The E doesn't know who I am, okay? And I'm not. What I'm trying to say is this: look, when I make good points about WWE, it's what I really believe. There are some things wrong with WWE, and I have said them a million times. Yeah. So
like, just kind of going back before, they had an opportunity with Penta, right? And then now all of a sudden they're like, oh, Penta's teaming up with Ray and Dragon Lee. That's some old school Vince shit where like, oh, we have 3 Spanish guys, put them in the LWO. Like they can't stand on their own. Like honestly, this whole pushing Hispanic talent, I generally think it's a smokescreen. I think it's exactly what they were doing before with Saudi, where they pushed a bunch of Indian talent and they tried to say, hey, look how awesome we are representing Spanish or this culture's talent. And then they went over and they got all their money, they got all their deals, they bought whoever they needed to buy, and they're doing the same thing with AAA. They bought AAA because they wanted a handful of talent. They're making Spanish wrestlers look like they're good enough, but they're not making them go over anyone big in the company. And then once they get what they need and they get their fill and they meet their quotas and they get their money back on investment, they're going to stick them all back in catering. And that's because they only can push 3 or 4 guys at a time. If you're not Cody, if you're not Bloodline, and if you're not, I can't even say Drew because Drew's transition there. Everyone's was waiting for him to lose it already. But like they only can push a handful of people. Rhea Ripley is a tag team champion and she's getting introduced after the world champion already gets introduced. I love Rhea, but when she came out in that triple tag, the tag team should have came out, and then the world champion Stephanie Victoria should have came out, and she was brought out last because she's the bigger star. But that's the thing: if she's the champion, then treat her like the champion. Stephanie should be the last one out to that ring of that show. But that's the problem: WWE forces only 2 to 3 people down your throat at one time, and that bothers me about their company.
But this is what sells for them. Like you gotta realize something. If they've been
but
doing
I think fans are getting sick of it.
But they're not, because fans are going to keep coming. Like here's what
they are until they can't. Listen, if they keep pricing out their fans and moving it to places they can't go, there's a huge opportunity for AEW in 2026, 2027 to really make some ground on them because they're not being friendly to their fan base.
Well, if they're smart, they will counter-program WrestleMania in Saudi. They'll have a big show in the States.
I think they will try to do that. I generally do. Yeah.
You know? And
but I think even AEW is doing better on the international front. I think when they go over to London, I think they do amazing. When they went over to the other places, they do really well. Australia, they're killing it.
You tell me WWE doesn't do good in Australia and in London and everywhere else in Japan.
I think they do, but I think WWE will go to a show and AEW. Here's old school booking. When AEW goes to another country's show, they make their the country's hometown guy the hero, and they send him home with a hero's welcome. WWE goes to another country and they're like, "That's your favorite guy? He's from here, Dad."
To win the title?
Huh?
You want Finn to win the title?
Well, don't book him in a situation that he has to look like an idiot and lose. Put him in a match that makes him do smart booking to make him look more successful.
Marcos, because of good thinking. Yeah, because this is what's on the post. People want this. And I get it. And you're not wrong. It's what's more popular. And what's more popular is what's going to sell. You know? And, you know, people like, oh, you hate AEW. I don't hate AEW. I will not bash them in aspects of they're not a good company. I just think that the E is better. I think they do things better to keep me watching the show. Because I was watching AEW religiously. I wasn't Anthony, wasn't I?
For a little bit, yeah.
I was even doing the freaking live streams. I was in the movie theater while Kira was home for 6 hours. It just seems like I don't want to, it sounds crazy. I don't want to see 7, 10, 12 matches where the pay-per-view is 7 hours long. They have a bad habit of having a long pay-per-view, bro.
I will say this. I prefer, if I'm going to pay $200-$300 a ticket to go to an AEW show and it's a pay-per-view, I want my money's worth. I want the 7, 8, 9 matches. I do. I rather that. I think you get more return on investment. You know, I'm not paying $800 to go watch 4 matches, and you're gonna half-ass through all 4 of them, and then the main event you're probably gonna give me a shitty payoff that we all seen coming a mile away because your company is booked for 5-year-olds, and maybe it impresses the simple-minded fans of like, oh, cool, we got this. Like, everyone's like WWE. I don't understand how WWE fans are excited for Roman to be the champion again. He was champion for almost 1,600 some days, and the guy wrestled 13 times. That's crazy. I don't want that again for 4 years, for 2 years. I generally, if Roman becomes the world champion again and they force feed the bloodline down our neck, I'm out. I don't care. I don't care about that. Like, I have no love for that. Like, someone said in the chat, AEW Sting retirement was better than John Cena's retirement. I'm not a Sting guy, but I would tend to agree. I thought they dropped the ball on Cena's retirement. And I think the fact that they didn't give AJ a send-off is criminal because AJ, once again, has done more in professional wrestling than John Cena ever did.
You know, that's not what he wanted. Like, first of all, Cena went out the way he wanted to go out.
As a professional wrestler, Tony, if you went out and you were getting choked out by your opponent and you smiled at the camera and did that tap out, the business would have burned your boots in the ring that night. That was not the way to go out. He made the statement that I'm going to kill professional wrestling, and boy, did he that night. That was not the way to do it. AJ showed you as a pro wrestler how you should have went out to Gunther. The way AJ sold it, where he choked out, and then he immediately woke up and was like, wait, why is the match over? Because in a real life situation, you watch it all the time in UFC. If Gunther's selling the realism, and that's Gunther's character, is he fights you. Gunther sells realism. That's why Gunther is special. John Cena took that realism of Gunther and threw it out the damn window. He made Gunther look like an idiot for smiling like that. AJ passing out and then waking up and grabbing the referee because he still thinks he's in a fight was beautiful. And that's why AJ Styles was like, so him to get that send off was criminal.
So because they did it two different ways, I mean, so AJ did it right, and because Cena did it his way, did it wrong. Cena showed you, hey, it's over for me. I can't do this.
Then it's over. Say it's over for you after the thing, but do the job in the ring. It's not about you at that point. If you're going to put the guy over and you want that guy to look like the monster heel and you want to... John Cena, his entire career, has been known for the golden shovel. No, don't give anyone anything. It's John Cena, John Cena, John Cena, John Cena, and he was criticized for that forever. And then his very last run, he's all about putting people over. He wants to give back. He wants to help the next people. And then the biggest guy in the company, who you're trying to sell that he's a real life killer, you're taking his move and you smile at the camera. You diminished him. You diminished him. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
He tapped out. He tapped out, and
he smiled and went like, he didn't even tap out, Tony. He went,
yeah, as if I know I can't beat this guy no matter what I do.
He's choking you out. Tony, if you got put in a chokehold by anybody, you're not going to have time to smile about it.
He dropped a super AA on this guy, and he couldn't beat him. He's like, you know what? At this point, I know I can't beat him. I'm happy with my career. I'm out of here.
Terrible ending. I don't care how you spin it. Terrible ending. Terrible ending. They killed the business that night.
He went the next day. Gunther comes on Raw and says, I tapped Cena out like, excuse my language, like a bitch. So what are you talking about? He tapped out.
And here's the thing, too. I don't like the way they booked Gunther after him. Why is he getting kicked out of the building for saying this truth? He didn't go out and cheat. So why is he getting punished, and why is everyone hating him for taking on a match and going out and beating a guy with no cheating, no nothing? I think that storyline's been terrible.
I agree that Adam Pearce not throwing the guy out. He did his job. He's what he's supposed to do. Beat the guy. Now you throw him out. And I also want to agree with this. James was tapping him out. Well, that's another story entirely. I didn't believe it either. So you're not wrong there. But before, let me thank Rosen for the super chat. Rosen, thank you for the $5 super chat. You know, every time we get super chat, we do this old school.
No, we're not doing that. No. Because it's going to go to audio platforms, and that's going to be your audio level. Yeah, your audio levels are crazy. Yeah.
Anyway,
thank you for the super chat. Thank you.
If Mike was here, thanks for the super chat, baby.
Ding, ding, all that. Yeah. Well, that's a Tantalizing Tony thing. This is a collaboration thing.
Oh, I forgot. See, here we go again. I'm not even allowed to. See, he's being one day.
I'm not letting you force feed your children down people's throat, Tony. This is about us.
That's because you don't get super chats, so you wouldn't know anything.
I don't get super chats. I don't get super chats. Chat. He says I don't get super chats.
$1. Send him a buck. Send him a food stamp.
Give me some of your EBT money, guys. No.
Hey, eat better tonight.
I will say we're closing in to the end here. We'll go till an hour 45. Every episode's not going to go this long. I promise you. This is the debut. This is what we're doing. We will have more structure when it comes to weekly topics. But the last 10, 15 minutes here, please put in the chat if there's something going on in wrestling right now that you want our takes on or you want us to debate about it. Put in your best ones. We'll pick 2 or 3 of them and we'll debate them real quick and we'll go from there. If you want yours to guarantee go through, listen, we do have bills to pay here, so put it through as a super chat. Put a super chat in and ask your question, and they will guaranteed be answered. But if they're not going that way, we're gonna let a bunch come in, and then we're gonna pick the one we want to do, and that's how we're gonna end tonight's show. We will be back next Thursday, but we'll be back at 8:00 because he's old. He's already fallen asleep in his chair, and I have work at 5 a.m. So we got to do this. But
first of all, before you go, he's with this old crap. I might be older. Who looks older? This guy, number 1. Number 2, please, guys, please. He needs a super chat. Help him out, please. He's got bills to pay.
I'm broke as hell right now. My bank account's super negative. But bring me on next. I'll give AEW commentary. Well, listen, we'd love to have all of you here to hang out, but unfortunately, we are trying to build something, and we're not going to go super heavy with the co-host. But you guys can always hang out in the chat and hang out with us in that aspect. For now, let us build up our formula. We don't have a show for this name yet, so let us find ourselves. Let us get a flow. Let us get us a dynamic. Because what happens with a lot of podcasts is everybody brings everybody in right away, and then you never develop that flow between host and co-host and LM. So let us find that first, and then when we lock it down, then we'll be more open to bringing other people in to kind of come hang out. I love you, Anthony, but tell him black don't crack. It doesn't. He looks great. Tony, I wish I looked like Tony his age. I am a rundown, beaten old man, but my brain's better. And yeah. But anyway, once again, we line up the chats right now with a few comments of what you want. I know we got Grand Slam predictions. I don't even know if Tony can do Grand Slam predictions. I don't know how much he's actually been following AEW. But if Tony would like to let me take the throne on that one because I'm the AEW guy, I'll give you some of my predictions for Grand Slam real quick. I'll just run through them real fast. Let me pull up the card. We do also in our Discord on my end, we do have a thing that we do called ProWrestlingScorecards.com, or digital.ProWrestlingScorecards.com, where you can play along, and I have a little faction in there that you can come and hang out. But for Grand Slam Australia, we do have MJF versus Brody King. I think MJF wins it, but I would not hate if they swerved us and let Brody King have a little bit of a run, because I think MJF is so over, he does not need the title. I think he's a guy that doesn't need to have the title at that point in time, but I think he does keep it. I think Timeless Tony Storm and Orange Cassidy beat the Death Riders, and I think Wheeler Yuta is the one to shave his head. I think Hangman Adam Page loses to Andrade El Hidio. I think they give Andrade the chance to go for a championship because Hangman's been there too much. I think the Babes of Wrath I think Mega Bad beat the Babes of Wrath, and I think Willow goes on to just be the solo TBS champion, and she loses one of her belts. And I love you, Willow, but unfortunately that's the way I'm going. I think Takeshita beats Jon Moxley for his belt, and I think Kyle Fletcher beats Mark Briscoe in the ladder match, but I think it's going to be unbelievable. We got a super chat question. Which show produces more botches, and who has better camera production? Do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
Camera production is definitely WWE. They make some mistakes.
Especially WWE on Netflix. Not that Phantom Cam they use on Netflix, and the production and the way they set up the arenas with the Netflix money. Netflix's production is way better, but I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Botch wise, I hate to use the word botch because mistakes happen in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough because if you've never been in the ring before, you could lose your life in there.
Yeah.
So I don't want to call it a botch, but I will say that I think that in aspects of who could do better in less mistake-wise, I would say WWE, to me, missed the ball on a lot of super kick stuff. They missed a lot of moves here and there, like super kicks, or like Monday with the Usos. They missed a lot of kicks, man. So it just depends. But I would say WWE could do a little better on that. I give AEW credit there.
I would actually say if I don't like the term botches either. I don't go by that. But I think that AEW has a little more slip ups, but I think they're better at correcting it. Once again, I think those people work more reps with the independent scene and going in there, but I think they take more risks, so they have more opportunities to slip up. I'm probably gonna get some hate for this one, but I think some of the worst matches to watch right now is Maxine Dupree, because she gets lost every single match. I don't know. She must be a really, really nice person, because her run has been pretty awful. And the other girl who we can't even see anymore, Jade, she's not even getting TV time, and which is depressing. I mean, maybe she is. I just don't watch SmackDown that much.
I think that Jade. I will tell you this: Jade has been champion 100 years with 0 title defenses, and I don't agree with that.
She's like the Roman of the female division. She'll be like the longest reigning. Yeah.
I think that they're not going to do something with her, get her defend the title, then take it off her. But I think they're waiting on Bianca, because I think Bianca wasn't ready for the Rumble. Bianca did break her finger. I think the match at WrestleMania is Jade versus Bianca.
I think Bianca wins the Chamber.
Yeah, we'll see. I think so as well. But you got a super chat there from Amber Lynn.
Yes, no question. Just a shameless plug from 5'9 Designs. Thank you. We got one from Greg. Thoughts on Brody King being blocked from AEW Dynamite by Warner Brothers? That actually is nonsense dirt sheet stuff. That actually was not the case. They realized that they pretty much sold the match already that week, so they wanted to try to sell the ladder match, so they put other segments on TV, and Brody King was not blocked because of the fans chanting anti-ice stuff. If anything, that when it comes down to fan interaction, I think AEW is way better of letting their fans be them, where WWE will censor fans or pipe fans down. Or plug in crowd noise that's not really there because they want to control that narrative.
You can't curse all day long with kids watching this show. People have children that buy their kids these T-shirts. You don't want to hear an F-bomb every 2 seconds.
People paid their money. They're allowed to say what they feel.
Marco, next time if you're at the big event, she's there. I got you, Marco.
I love Willow. She's so great. I got to work with her a bunch of times on Independence Scene. She's awesome, people.
Shout out to Willow real quick from the big event. So Willow had whoever her guy was, her vendor was. He was like, you can't talk to her. She's like, that's Tantalizing Tony, because he was making money.
I actually, when we were at Philly, she was at the table and I just kind of walked by and she's like, yo, you're not gonna say anything, and I was like, I honestly didn't think you were gonna remember me.
Willow's good people.
Yeah, good people. We'll see if we got one more pop in and then we're gonna wrap this one up.
Pull up to the big event. The big event is March 21st, 2026.
Let me see my phone. You said March 21st. Maybe, hey, 5'9", if you want to come and swoop me up because Tantalizing Tony may have an open invitation for me to come hang out at his table and plug this show.
And if you're in Blackpool, you can come too. Okay. But listen, go to bigeventny.com.
What is it?
March 21st.
March 7th to have a show, and March. Why am I not seeing March on this calendar for this company? I don't see. What am I looking at? August, July, January, February, April, May, June. We don't have a show in March for this company.
There it is.
Yeah, I'll have to find out. Yeah, big event's going to be great.
Is your company Rinky Dink like the SWA with Alex? Because Alex is in the chat.
The two companies I'm working right now are very. I'm not seeing him in the chat. I haven't seen him comment once.
He's up there somewhere.
Both companies that I work for are somewhat new, but they do have some cool veteran presence. I'm very happy with the way they treat me and the way they conduct things with me. They have a mix of very young, and they have some veterans that are helping the young guys. I think they run a great show. The crowds aren't massive; they're not huge, but the ones that show up enjoy what we put out, and it's a good time. I have a blast at them.
No, I was giving you a hard time, bro, because I'm pretty sure the company I went to with you before was pretty cool, and I only called Rinky Dink because Alex is in the room. He gets a haircut, thinks he's a tough guy, but I'm going to see him at the Oh, wait a minute, that's right.
I think he'll be a big event too.
He'll be a Psycho Circus too. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Psycho Circus too.
Yeah. So look, I don't know waiting for any more.
Yeah, questions. We don't have any other comment. Any other questions? No other questions come in. Thank you for the super chats, everybody. Anything you want to close out with when it comes to this? What to expect? Maybe I know we didn't do the CM Punk topic, so we'll add that to next week. But anything you want to kind of wrap up with? I know I did a lot of talking.
Bottom line is that everybody that comes here, this is a safe space. You're welcome to your opinion. Respect, please. We appreciate that. You guys can disagree. I already know that I'm that mostly everybody's going to be siding with Blackwell due to his his take, because you guys are so AEW. And like I said, I don't hate AEW. I just love WWE.
I'm actually shocked of how much AEW love was tonight. I did not think it was going to be that heavy. I'm going to be honest. I thought it was really. Yeah, because AEW's the underdogs, and you guys always scrapping. You guys are always. Most of your people are in here in the comments, which is great. Good for you guys. But I thought your audience was more pro WWE. Because your WWE streams used to do really well, and your AEW ones not so much.
All your guys want to be Rocky. Let's remember this, guys. Rocky lost the first fight. Okay, they'd have a Rocky.
And he came back and Roman Reigns that shit. But no, I at the end of the day, I'll say this too. I am a pro wrestling fan. I love pro wrestling, even though I don't like the way WWE is doing things. I don't like what WWE's and I'll say it straight up first, and I'll put this on the table. The way WWE handles stuff behind the scenes, the way WWE has done things historically, the way WWE right now and Triple H are partnering up with this administration does put a damper on how I feel about the company. It is what it is. I'm sorry. That's where my morals and my personal beliefs step in. But I generally think our president's doing horrific things. And for a guy who says I'm not about politics, and he got in the ring and told us that he's not about this, and this, and we're here about pro wrestling, and then goes and does what he's doing. You're like Triple H is losing a lot of brownie points for me. I'm going to be completely honest. But I still watch because there's a lot of people on that wrestling roster that I do love. I would do with the second Kevin Owens comes back, I'm in. I love Sami Zayn. There's a lot of people on that roster I generally enjoy watching, and I watch it for them. But as a company, I have a hard time wanting to give them my money and support them. But I watch them because I'm a content creator, and I watch them because I love the art form of professional wrestling. But AEW feels more at home for me because I do live more in the independent wrestling scene, and AEW does feel like independent wrestling with a budget. It gives me that Chikara feeling. It gives me that Lucha Underground feeling. It gives me that ROH feeling. It gives me NXT Black and Gold feeling. And that's my era. Like I think NXT Black and Gold is the best era of wrestling we had in the last 20 years. I thought it was amazing. And I get more of that vibe in AEW than I do WWE. But I both companies should exist and both companies should thrive. And I do love the idea of professional wrestling.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room real quick before we go,
Sure.
Because everybody, and morals do matter. Listen, I agree with you 100%. There's things I don't agree with how they handle things with the administration. But here's the thing. In the history of the world, guys, government has been corrupt. No matter what government you're part of, okay? Just full disclosure, guys, there was slavery in this country, okay? So there's all kind of things that are just wrong, just morally wrong that happen. I'm not trying to break down everything that goes wrong in the world when I'm going to a wrestling match because, okay, Harvey Weinstein, scumbag. I still love his movies that he produced. There's R. Kelly. There's things I can separate, like I don't have to always be like, oh, they did this wrong, I'm out. I get it. You're allowed to have your opinion. You're allowed to, but you don't have to break down not saying you. Everything, the administration and this is that. You can critique whatever you want, but my issue is that everybody always, like me, you're so pro WWE. So you're pro, and you saying that is saying you're pro AEW. But I respect that you like your thing. But when I do it, it's you want to beat up on me, and it's not for you, Blacklist. It's for the chat because you're just Cowtown because you think you're gonna make it. I don't think.
I think what happens though is I think just real quick, but when you turn around and say, well, I don't like AEW because I think Tony Khan is this or that, and you attack the company for their owner and their face, and then I'm just saying, I think this is what happens with a lot of content creators on the WWE side. They'll say, oh, well, Tony Khan's a stupid mark. He doesn't know what he's doing. And I don't like the way things are backstage because wrestlers got into a fist fight. Spoiler alert. In the world of professional wrestling, fist fights used to happen all the time backstage. You just didn't know about 90% of them.
I never said that. I said I don't.
But I think what happens is that when these content creators go that route and say, "Well, I don't like AEW because of this, and this," but then completely negate or don't talk about the fact that everything that's been going on behind the scenes at WWE, it kind of it shows your bias a little bit.
Look, this is my thing. No matter what you like, Pepsi or Coke, there's going to be a debate on why something is better.
Sure.
I can respect that you like Coca-Cola and I like Pepsi more. Okay? The problem with the IWC is that if you are pro WWE, they want to beat up on you. Like, oh, you're just for them. Oh, Tony, you want to work for them. Of course I'd work for them. But if AEW offer me something too, guess what? I'm going where the money is. I'm not a dummy.
Oh, I'm snitching you out in the media. I'm like, dude, he don't want to be there. He hates it. Give it to me instead.
Hey, I'm gonna go where I can pay my bills. If these companies don't see my value where I'm good enough to get somewhere else and someone else offer me something, I'll go. And I'm the kind of guy to tell Tony Khan, I like XYZ. You just do it like this. I ain't scared of nobody. I told the Saudis, by the way, when they booed our national anthem, they booed us. They booed our national anthem, right? I stood for it. I stood up. But I also stood for theirs. You know why? To show them that I was better than them because they want the American company there, but they booed it. And I even said to us, you guys are booing us, but you're cheering our product. I said, hypocrisy, a little bit. And the people in the stands were like, Wow. Yeah, it took balls. I ain't scared. So yes,
I think with the way things are going right now, if someone boos our country, it doesn't offend me. It hurts me because I feel like we could be better and we're not.
We are one. Here's the thing. Let's not get into whole politics and love. And we're one race, guys. The human race is all we are.
Sure.
Yes, we're divided by borders and water and this
and money and power.
Of course. But at the end of the day, everybody wants the same thing. You want to be with your family. You want to live in a nice home. You want to go on vacation. You want to eat well. You want to be treated well. Everybody wants the same thing. Everybody. Yeah. How we get it, who knows? But
Ishmael says, ABJ asked me about a question. He wants me to the TNT champion really, really fast. I don't like that Tamasha lost so quick. I love how they brought Tamasha Ciampa in. I'm a huge Tamasha fan. When he came in, Ciampa is my dude. I'm a huge fan. But I think there's something coming with that TNT title. I think there's a possible return coming. So I think they needed to get it back on Fletcher so he can then take out. He took out Briscoe. He's gonna take out Ciampa, and I think there's somebody else coming back, and I think he's gonna go for that TNT title, and I think that's gonna push Fletcher back out of the TNT picture, and then push him possibly more towards the world title, because I think what we're gonna get at AEW, and this is just fan prediction, I think we're gonna get Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher in London.
I wouldn't hate that, but I've seen that match 50 times.
Not for a world title. Ospreay has yet to get the world title yet.
That's true.
Yeah. So I won't say who I think is going to come back for the TNT title. Actually, I will. I think Adam Cole's close to coming back. I think because Adam Cole's. I do. When the couple pay-per-views ago, he got on the thing and he goes, "You will see Adam Cole in 2026 to some capacity." I think he went through some mental stuff on top of a concussion, and I think it was really, really hard on him, and he had to step away. But I think he feels that AEW is a better safe place for him, and he doesn't have as many distractions backstage.
You make such a great point. People don't realize this. A concussion will change who you are.
That probably a possible breakup doesn't help when you.
I'm telling you this from personal experience. 2 concussions in 7 months, and like you said, a breakup, or if you lose somebody you love, it will affect how you see things and how you look at life.
Yeah.
So, speedy recovery to Adam Cole. Hopefully, he comes back. I can tell you from personal experience that if your personal life ain't right and you have 2 concussions, you're not all there.
Yeah. And I don't honestly. I think after watching the current product, and I think everyone thinks that every title has to be held for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, 3 months. I think it's fine to have a title on your company every now and then that kind of hot potatoes and flops around. I do. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it keeps it fresh. Everyone talks about how much they love the Attitude Era. Titles were flipping and flopping around there in the Attitude Era like crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And it made people superstars because it gave them an accolade. But we're here too long. It's an hour and 52 minutes. Thank you guys so much. Listen, if you tuned in either on the Tantalizing YouTube channel or the ABJ channel, the links are below on both of our things. I don't know if he put my links in there. He probably didn't because he's terrible at this. But make sure you go flip-flop between 2. Give the videos a like. Subscribe to each one of us. Both of our link trees are there. We both make – I probably make a little more content when it comes to outside of the wrestling space with vlogs and 5 questions with ABJs and a lot of other stuff that's going on. I have a little bit of variety here and there, but I do vlog my experiences of going to wrestling shows and commentary and all that stuff. So any support would be great. Stalk us on social media. Show us that support. We both have merchandise. I have a page for merchandise. I think he still has one as well. If not, I'll help him make one because, once again, he's old and he needs help.
I'm on Pro Wrestling Tees, by the way.
There you go. He's on Pro Wrestling Tees. But thank you all so much for tuning into this debut episode. We appreciate you. More of this is coming. I know the origin stories and the Royal Rumble trip were kind of filler, but that's just kind of let the new people here to let us know who each one of us are. But we will continue to go. Do we watch TNA? I personally don't. I don't watch TNA, Tim Rollins. I'm sorry. Everyone who I like the TNA is gone, so I have really no reason to watch it. Speedball and Ace Austin both went over to AEW, so I'm happy. I'm good with that. But yeah, so guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back next Thursday at 8:00, and we'll be talking more stuff there.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Let me thank Blackwell. You did okay. You did all right.
All right, I appreciate it.
You did okay. I'm not gonna give you that much props because it's me, and that's not what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, follow us everywhere. Look,
let us know in the chat who was better. Who won today's night's debate?
Oh, they're gonna say you won because they know you need it more than me, and I can, I'm gonna try my cereal. But everybody knows that I got the better numbers and I've got the better looking face.
For now.
Listen, guys, the big event's a big thing.
Yes.
You really want to be at the big event. Okay, go to bigeventny.com. I'm promoting this thing because I am the host of the big event. I'm the permanent host, and there are so many surprises. And these are things that are gonna make news, viral news. I'm not just saying it. I promise you, you got to be there. Look, see, they think you won, bro. They think you won. ABJ made better points. There you go. There it is. You must have paid these guys with your EBT card.
Yeah, I pulled the WWE. I'm paying everybody off. Yeah.
There it is. There it is. I don't need the accolades of these ham and eggers. Okay, I don't care about these. Okay? I got their money. I'm out. That's what I do. I'm like the E. I got paid. I'm out of here.
Yeah. But I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. Keep coming back. We'll be here next week. I'll be posting a lot of clips. So whatever you see on Listen, the biggest thing with us right now is Tony and myself. If you see it on social media, hit a like button, leave a comment. Hit the reshare buttons. You have no idea how much that helps us smaller content creators or even ones that are bigger like Tony get to that next level so they can be bigger. It takes zero effort. If we're in your timeline, just hit a button. Hit the button and you know what I mean. Just help us out a little bit. We're working hard. We put a lot into this. We do a lot of stuff, and I promise you, this show is going to keep developing and getting better. And we will be your one-stop shop for wrestling debates. We'll see you guys next week. We're out of here.
We're out.
The button, Tony. You got to hit.